We have a very important one now, and that is Rich Sutter joining us, 13-year NHL veteran. Good day, Richie. Good to see you again, as always, at home at your desk, doing work, I'm sure, getting ready for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight. Panthers up 2-0 in the series. What are your thoughts on how we've got here in this affair?
Well, Edmonton probably had the best shot in Game 1 and allowed to get away on them. Goaltending can win you a lot of hockey games, and I wouldn't go so far as to say Sergei Bobrovsky stole one in Game 1. The Oilers were good, but they weren't good enough. It's the bottom line, and they were definitely last 4 periods of the last game plus have been owned by the Florida Panthers. So I don't know if there's such thing as momentum when you have such crazy time off between games like they've had. Tonight, it's all on the line tonight. It's you lose, you're in deep, deep trouble. And I would expect Edmonton to throw their best at them tonight, whatever that is, if they can do it. But they're also playing a pretty good hockey team in Florida that can take the wind out of your sails in a hurry too. It's just how they play.
Well, I respect the heck out of your opinion, as you know, so I'm going to put you a question that I got from the Panthers fans. They said, how come the Oilers are having so much trouble scoring with all the offense they have? How would you answer that?
You know what? Look, there's a lot of teams that should play or try and play the way the Florida Panthers play. There's a lot of teams that would want to play the way the Florida Panthers play hockey. The bottom line is you got to have the right people in place to do that. First of all, you look at skill and talent and size and grit and sandpaper that Florida's got. Yes, they've got that, but first of all, they've got a lot of those players are also really good people, and they've bought into a system that Paul Maurice loves to play. They just don't play this style of hockey come playoff time. They play this style of hockey starting in September. They had something on their shoulders called a big chip when they went back into camp last September, and they've kept that with them all year, and it's put them to where they are today. I don't know if Edmonton can match that, to tell you the truth. I don't think they've got the players to do it, but they've got 2 guys that can change games on a dime, especially 97, and if 29 can get going, then they might have a series. But look, this game has not been won by the star players by Florida, other than Sergei Bobrovsky in Game 1. It's your foot soldiers. It's your bottom 6 guys. It's been everybody, but it's been contributions up and down the lineup. I think they got 12 players engaged or involved in the score sheet in the first 2 games. That tells you a lot about their depth and where the contributions are coming from. And if we even spoke about Kachuk or guys like that yet, that are big offensive contributors at a hot club and so-called the real spark plugs, but they're getting it from everywhere. And right now in Edmonton, I don't know where they're getting it from. And it remains to be seen what's going to happen. Look, I think they're a beat-up hockey club. We saw how Darnhurst thought he could sit on the bench the other night and watch a hockey game. He should just bought a ticket, went and sat in the stands, for Christ's sake. To sit on the bench with an injury, should have been in the locker room getting treatment, doing something. But yes, that goes to show some guys get to do what they want to do in certain teams. He would not have been on my bench, I'll tell you that. If you're not good enough to play, off the bench and go get treatment. Yeah. But they're banged up, and they're going to need contributions from some other guys tonight, very importantly, and see whether or not Florida's tight checking time and space to answer the question right up front. They've done everything they've wanted to do in terms of checking, and they make it really hard to play against, frustrating to play against, knowing full well that, yeah, I might be good and I might have my willpower tonight and I might have my unleaded fuel in my tank, but I got to go through this every shift. I mean, and that becomes also a mental thing, Rod. And that's where Florida, I think, has the edge to this point mentally, how they can wear you down as a group.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, just backing up, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm just reiterating what Rich said about good people on the Panthers. I've been with teams that the philosophy was you're not playing on this team unless you're a good person. And I've been with teams where that was not the policy. and we won championships with the first one, right? Not every team does that, but it's very, very important. Hey, the Sharks hired a new head coach, and I don't know who he is today. What can you tell us about him?
Well, honestly, I tried to use my homework on him last year a few days. He's had good success, relatively good success in Chicago and Charlotte in the American Hockey League. He's been in the San Jose system as an assistant coach. He knows the players, especially the guys that are trying to crack their lineups now. I don't know where they're at with this. It seems to be kind of like off the wall type of signing.
Okay.
Every young guy deserves an opportunity, right? And whether or not he can do that with that group, the bottom line is now, are you going to have the patience to let this guy put his mettle into that organization in terms of how he can structure this lineup and what he's going to be given with? Because let's be honest, are these young guys like Smith and the guy that everyone's talking to be the number one pick overall, are they going to be ready to be NHL players? Like, I don't know if they are. I mean, is it going to be wise to go back to school for one more year, being a number one overall pick, and get a chance to play for your country for the World Championships, the World Juniors? What's going to be better for you long-term moving forward for this organization and for Warsofsky? What's he going to have to work with? And the bottom line is there going to be patience for him within the organization? Because this team is not going anywhere for at least the next 2 or 3 years in terms of up and down the standings.
Ryan Warsofsky, everybody. That's who we're talking. I had to look up his name, and I'm glad to hear you say that because I had no idea. From North Marshfield, Massachusetts, college guy playing, and then has been a Sharks assistant the last 2 years. You've obviously got far more info on it. Ryan Warsofsky, born in 1987. We wish him well. You wanted to talk about the American Hockey League final, the Calder Cup. What do you got?
Well, look, like this is like our AAA league to baseball, and this is to me, if not the second best, the third best league in the world. And this is where a lot of hockey players are developed. This is where some players will probably stay longer than they need to be when they're called up to the NHL. But this is a great hockey league. Really good teams. 2 teams going back to the final for the second year in a row in Coachella Valley, Seattle's farm team, coached by Dan Bialsma, who is going to be the Seattle coach, and by Mr. Nelson, who is a Saskatchewan boy leading Hershey back for the second year in Todd. Another really, really good coach here. 2 really good teams, an epic 7-game series last year. I don't know where it's going to pan out this year. Seattle's probably a better team. Coachella's probably a better team than they were a year ago. I don't think Hershey is as good as they are a year ago. They are not as deep. They're not as big, where they can play that kind of heavy style. They've lost 2 or 3 guys to the free agency last summer. Didn't really replace those kind of guys, and they are a banged-up hockey club at this point. So Lucas Johansson is probably will not play the final series, who has been a mainstay on their back end since coming down partway through the year from Washington. And they're banged up. So they're in tough. Do I want to see Hershey play and play well and win? Yes, from a selfish standpoint with my nephew Riley there. But I think it's going to be a tough series for them to hold, and hopefully they can figure it out. But it's what they play the games for. You get one goaltender and steals a game for you, like everyone said Bobrovsky did. If Shepard can do that for Hershey one night, maybe it'll give him some momentum.
A lot of people are following it, but that shouldn't surprise me. It is Canada after all. Rich, a wonderful report. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll do it again soon.
Talk soon, Rod. Thank you.
13-year NHL veteran from hockey's first family, Rich Sutter.